Hello, everyone, and welcome back to VoidTune, where today we will be talking about the cast assessment for Survivor 49. Now, I'll admit, my excitement for this season isn't as high as previous seasons. Maybe it's because of certain other shows that are going on at the time of this recording, or maybe it's because it's the prelogue to 50, which is right around the corner, too. So, take it as you will. Still, I am putting some investment into this season, and I am a survivor. Like, you cannot be excited on some level. I'm just probably not as hyped as I used to be. But anyway, if you haven't seen my videos for these cast assessments before, we'll be going over everyone by alphabetical order, and we'll be talking about their personal information and how well they've done, how well I think they'll do in the game based on their intro videos and some other cast assessments from other content creators, as well as their interviews from Mike Bloom on RHAP. And also, on this channel specifically, I do a thing called Star Power. Star Power is just essentially a gut instinct that I have that could affect, how they'll do on the season or how prominent they'll be on the season, but most especially if they're going to make a return on another season or something like that. 5 stars, you're an all-star. Get it? And at the end of the video, I'll be doing my winner predictions based on the star power that I spread across this assessment. Now, here's another thing I want to note before we get into it. I do know who from 49 will be on 50. I do know that. What I can say is I'm not going to let that affect how I do this assessment or my rankings. I can promise you that. Even though I know who's on 50, I'm not letting the fact that they are on 50 automatically make them like high ranked or anything like that. They gotta earn it, just like everyone else. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the video, starting with... First, we have Alex, from the Blue Kiwi tribe, 26, and is a political comms director. Now, going into it, I wasn't sure what to get, but first thing that I got from Alex is he's very practiced and political. He has a background in politics, and the more he talks about it, the more I'm worried that he's going to be like over political and over strategize, and that can get him into a lot of trouble early on, especially. So I think he's either going to flame out, or he's going to get deep into the game, and then be this huge target and get voted out really quickly. So I gave him 2 stars. Next we have Annie, or Trashy Annie, also from the Blue Kiwi tribe, 49, and is a musician slash CEO. She's a CEO and has a music career. I've listened to some of her songs after the reveal. I'm impressed. And she's she's definitely more character than strategist, but I like it, and I think her personality overall can get her deep into the game. And she's very present in like all the promotional material, so that's also a plus. Overall, though, I think she's going to be really good as a number or a person, but I don't think she's going to have the respect in the end if she does get to the end to win the game. So I gave her 3 stars. Next, we have Jake, also from the Blue Kiwi tribe, 35 years old, and is a correctional officer. Jake reminds me a lot of Joe from last season and Jeremy, and like just everything that he was saying about his own personal life and how he wants to approach the game, like it really hit me. Like it made me feel things, and I don't know if it's just a new era casting, but like a lot more recently, the personal stories have gotten to me, I guess. But like I think Jake's has the most depth to it and the most reasons to why to play hard and try to win Survivor. I just really like Jake. I do hope he makes it far and does well in the game like Joe from last season. But I can also see why people wouldn't want a repeat of 48 to happen. So, but I like Joe. I like Jake, just like I like Joe. So I gave him 5 stars. Next we have Jason, not from the blue Keeley tribe, but from the yellow Hina tribe. 32 and is a law clerk. I don't have the greatest faith in Jason. He's one of the two like last minute alternates on the season, and he, I just get a lot of like insecurity and like unplanned and unplanned energy from Jason. Like I don't think he really has everything he needs going into the game. But I've underestimated players like Jason before. I gave Charlie last place. He's in 46, and that was a big slap in the face. So I have more. I'm not underestimating Jason this season, but like I don't have the biggest faith in him. So I gave Jason 2 stars. Next, we have Jawn from the Red Uli tribe, 28, and is a video editor. My personal opinions on Jawan are like he's really nice, nice, and I think he does have a good eye for the game, and I think he definitely has like the best starting tribe out of everyone on the cast. Like I think Uli set up perfectly for him. My wonder is, will he become too likable and too much of a threat towards the mid portion of the game to where they'll need to get him out in order to have a chance to win? That's my only concern. As far as star power, I gave him 3 stars. Next, we have Jeremiah from the Blue Keeley tribe. He's 38 and is a global events manager. Jeremiah, I think, is the standard for like new era casting, but I think that will be playing to his benefit for this season, as he really talked about playing a very solid game throughout the game, and I liked what he was saying. Do I have the utmost confidence that he can make it to the end and win? That remains to be seen, but overall, I liked him. For star power, 4 stars. Next, we have Christina from the Yellow Hina tribe, age 35, and is an NBA career coach. I was seeing online a lot of comparisons between her and Suri, a legend of the game. Now, Suri is a pretty common person that people like to refer to themselves as, or other people like to compare to, but like I really see a lot of similarities between her and Suri. Now, is that too much of a clear notice to where people want to target her? I'm not too sure, but if she really does have what Suri does, then I can see her going far in the game, but I can also see her going out early just based off tribe strengths alone. So I gave Christina 3 stars. Next, we have Matt, also from the Yellow Hina tribe, age 52, the oldest guy on the cast, and is an airport ramp agent. He's very physical for his age and is in really good shape. I think he's definitely a dark horse in the game. He really talked about how people are just naturally drawn to him because of his hair and his personality, which I really think will help him. Normally, the oldest person on the cast doesn't really fare too well, but I can really see Matt relating to a lot of these people on not just his tribe but on his cast, and I think he'll do well in both the tribe challenges and the individual challenges, so he can make it further into the game. Do I necessarily compare him to like a Gabler? No, I don't think anyone can be another Gabler, not at all. But I really do like Matt, and I have faith in him, so I'm giving him 4 stars. Next, we have MC, the other last minute alternate, along with Jason on this cast. the Yellow Hina tribe, age 29, as a fitness trainer. I really, I when I first looked at MC, I thought, okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing, I'm liking what I'm hearing. But then when I went back to the same intro package and all that, my thoughts have completely shifted. Like, MC is definitely is a newer fan of the show, but his show, and I think you can really tell. I don't think she really has everything put together in order to make it far into the game. I don't really think she entirely knows what she's in for, and she could find herself in the majority and make it deep into the make it far. But like, I can also see her like not really connecting with her tribe mates and like trying to insert her own way into the game to the detriment of herself. So, even though I originally thought MC could do really well, I made a complete 180, and now I think MC should have only 2 stars for star power. Next, we have Nate Fox from the Red Uli tribe, 47, and is a film producer, most notably for some Marvel films such as like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, as well as the Black Panther movies. I really like Nate, not just because of his profession, but because of his approach to the game, and it really, I think it would really work, especially for someone of his age, and based on his starting tribe, I think he's going to be really well connected, and he's definitely no slouch, so he's good physically. Overall, I think Nate really has what it takes to make it far into the game, and I really like him. I think he's going to be really relatable. I think he's going to do really well, especially in the early game. So I gave Nate 5 stars. Next, we have Nicole from the Blue Keeley tribe, age 26, and is a financial crime consultant. I wasn't sure what I was going to get when I first saw that Nicole was going to be part of the cast, but the more I listened in and read her and saw her interviews, the more confident I got in how she'll do in the game. I think she'll definitely be able to adapt it, and to be very well likable, especially in the early stages, to where she can get further into the game. I think she's probably one of the more stubborn people on the cast, though. But I think overall, I think she'll do well in the game, and therefore I gave her 4 stars. Next, we have the man, the myth, the new era legend, Rizzo or Riz God. He's on the Red Uli tribe, age 25, and is a tech sales. Now, I'm going to say here's real quick. When I first saw Rizzo on the 49 preview at the end of 48, I was like, why is this guy here? He's like, he called himself Riz God, and I was just like, that is the most annoying, like, Gen Z type of thing that anyone can do. And I thought he was going to be like this character and be like totally impersonable and just annoying AF. But when I saw his intro and all his interviews and how he's going to play the game, I was actually surprised in how real he is. Like, the whole Riz God thing is more of a kooky side name thing that he does, and like, he can be a bit eccentric, but like, he's a real good guy, a real person. So I'm honestly surprised with how all of that went, and I'm actually looking forward to seeing Rizzo on the season, and I think he's going to do really well. So I gave him 5 stars. Next, we have Sage. She's on the Red Uli tribe, age 30, and is a clinical social worker. Now, when I first saw Sage, I thought, Okay, prime physical specimen, going to do really well in the challenge. Challenge is probably going to be social too. But then she said, I collect pimples, specifically blackheads. And I was like, ew, weirdo. But other than that, she does seem very social. She is aware of herself, and she has a background in the military, so I think she's going to do good overall. Comparatively to everyone else, I think she's going to struggle a bit more, especially on her own tribe. But overall, I don't think she'll go home early. I gave Sage 3 stars. Next, we have Savannah, also on the Red Uli tribe, age 31, and is a former reporter. A bit strange how they put her previous occupation on the whole bio sheet. The way she talks about her strategy coming into the game, it reminds me of Russell Hans in the sense that she wants to cause chaos in the camp life. But other than that, I think she's very aware of her own surroundings and how she can come off, and she really is building up the whole personal relationship sort of thing, which Russell would never do. I think if Savannah can pull off this strategy really well, she can make it deep into the game and potentially even win. If she doesn't do it right, she's going to crash and burn. And I'm also here for both. I think Savannah definitely is one of the leading contenders from this entire cast to have the best chances of win. So I am giving Savannah 5 stars. Next, we have Shannon, also on the Red Uli tribe, our last Uli tribe member, age 27, and is a wellness specialist. Now, Shannon definitely reminds me of a Carolyn or a Kendra, but I think she definitely has more of a solid strategy going to the game, and I think she's not going to have people put off by her whole hippie vibes. Plus, I just really liked her because she has a connection to a Survivor legend in Boston, Rob. Their families have actually been friends for decades now. So this is sort of a coming of Survivor story for her. Overall, I like her. I like the strategy she's coming to the game with. So I gave her 5 stars. Next, we have Sophie with an I, the Blue Keeley tribe, our last Blue Keeley tribe member, age 27, and is an entrepreneur. She has multiple businesses throughout her home, and she's in charge of them all. This is a classic player as far as a strong female coming to the game. She wants to be very sociable. She wants to be very physical. She wants to sort of take lead in her tribe, while also staying behind the scenes. Overall, I really think Sophie has a really good shot at coming ahead in this. I don't see anyone, especially on an early tribe, wanting to take Sophie out themselves. She could be a late game threat, and they will want to take her out. But other than that, I think we're good. So I'm giving Sophie 5 stars. Next, we have Sophie with an E, Yellow Hina tribe, age 31, and is a strategy associate. A lot like the previous Sophie, I think she's coming into the game with a pretty much similar strategy, only she wants to focus more on social connections and social relationships. I think Sophie is more the previous Sophie is more focused on big moves and big moments, while Sophie is trying to just navigate the game. I decided to give Sophie 4 stars. And our last person on the cast is Steven, final Yellow Hina tribe member, age 35, and is a rocket scientist. Rocket scientist, that's a really good occupation. He's definitely more of a new school fan of the game New Era. I'm not entirely sure that Steven is coming to the game with the right strategy and all of that, but I think he's very personable. I think he's going to be very likable, and he's definitely one of the more physical guys on the cast, so that could put a target on him. But I think his social game, compared to some others on this cast, will make sure that he doesn't go home early. All that combined, I gave Steven 3 stars. Alright, now it's time for my favorite segment of the video, the winner picks segment. Everyone who has gotten 5 stars is eligible to be my male and female winner picks for the season. We have 3 men and 3 women. For the men, we have Jake, Nate, and Rizzo. And for the women, we have Savannah, Shannon, and Sophie. Now, we have our third placers, and I think the first player we're taking off the board is Shannon. Now, I like Shannon, but people have also said that they've seen some red flags with Shannon. I've chosen to sort of put those to the side simply because I really think there's some massive positives. But for a winner, the red flags have to be accounted for. So Shannon's the first one off the board. Now, I think for our third place male, I think it needs to be Rizzo. He really won me over with his interviews and his approach, but I think he's either going to be seen as too big of a threat potentially going further into the game based on how personable he is, or or people are just going to start putting him off to the side simply because of his age, or they might not be able to connect with him moving forward to the game. All right, we got rid of our third placers. Now we have two of each. For the men, we have Jake and Nate, and for the women, we have Savannah and Sophie. I'm going to say who my winner picks are first, and then we're going to be talking about our second placers and our winners. All right, for my male winner pick, I have chosen Nate, and the reason why I chose Nate over Jake is because I think Jake will remind people too much of like Joe from last season, and people really didn't get the best of Joe from the previous season, and they might want to take him out. Plus, I think his threat level going much deeper into the game will be way too much, and people will need to take him out. And I think Nate, on the other hand, will be very personable. I think he's athletic enough to where he will be able to handle himself, but not be maybe the biggest threat on the board, as long as players like Jake, Steven, and Matt are still in the game. And I think he can really talk himself into a really good position to win the game in the long stretch. So that is why I have Nate as my male winner pick. Now, for my female winner pick, I have chosen Savannah. Now, the reason I chose Savannah over Sophie is because I think both women are coming to the game with like similar strategies. However, I think the key difference between Savannah and Sophie is Savannah, if she's confronted with her strategy and tactics, I think she's going to own it. Whereas Sophie, I think she's going to deny. And I think people will respect Savannah for her owning of her moves and owning of her game versus Sophie, who I think is going to just blame it on other people or deny it until people are just like, okay, we cannot trust this woman anymore. We need to vote her out. Or if she makes it to the tribal, they're not going to respect her over someone like Savannah, who will flat out own it I did this. This is why you should crown me the winner. I could be wrong about all of this. However, I really think this is going to be the avenue that's being taken in the game based on how I think, based on the preseason, things will go. We will see. And that is my entire ranking for the cast of 47. I talked about them individually, and then I talked about my winners and how I think this season will go. So far, I'm in the plus for how things come out in Survivor. I only really had one really terrible season, but I think this will go really well. And the next season is going to be 50. That's a big season, so I really want to do this really good, so we can go into the big time All-Star season with a win. And also, please get the word out for my videos. Like, I really want these videos to become more than what they've been in the past, because so far I'm putting a lot of effort and investment into these videos, but I'm not really getting the return that I really want. So I just really hope that things can improve. Otherwise, after 50, I might need to stop doing these videos simply because they are taking too much of my time, taking up too much investment. But anyway, see you all for next season. This season, I got other things going on, so check those out. If you want to see the full ranking for every player here, just look below. I'm going to post that. Until next time, see you all later. Void Tune out.